What he expected to be a cold, emotionless final meeting was supposed to bring closure, nothing more. Papers were ready, signatures awaited, and both had rehearsed their distance. He believed this moment would finally end the chapter they had already emotionally buried. No tears, no conversation, just an ending. But the moment she stepped into the room, everything shifted. At first, he couldn't place the unease crawling through his chest. Then his eyes dropped and time seemed to freeze. Her body told a story her lips never had. She was 7 months pregnant. The realization hit him like a wave, stealing the air from his lungs. This wasn't just a secret, it was a life-changing truth she had carried alone. His mind raced. How long had she known? Why hadn't she told him? Was the baby his? Every unanswered question collided with memories of arguments, misunderstandings, and words spoken in anger that now felt painfully small. The divorce papers on the table suddenly felt meaningless, almost cruel. She avoided his gaze, not out of shame, but exhaustion. Months of silence, fear, and resilience were written across her face. She hadn't come to argue or explain, only to finish what they had started. Yet the truth refused to stay quiet. In that fragile moment, the divorce stopped being about the past and became about the future. One realization stood above all others. This meeting was no longer an ending. It was a crossroads, a single, irreversible moment where love, responsibility, and regret collided, forcing a choice that would define both of their lives forever. As the room falls silent, the weight of what he has just discovered presses down on both of them. No arguments follow. No accusations are thrown. Instead, an unspoken question hangs heavy in the air, sharper than any words ever exchanged. Why did she leave without telling him about the baby? That question alone carries years of confusion, hurt, and unfinished conversations. He searches her face for answers, replaying every fight, every cold silence, every moment he chose pride over understanding. In his mind, he had been abandoned. But now doubt creeps in. What if she hadn't left out of selfishness, but out of fear? What if she believed he wouldn't care, wouldn't stay, or wouldn't believe her? When she finally speaks, her voice is steady but tired. She explains how the distance between them grew long before the separation, how every attempt to talk was met with walls instead of warmth. She hadn't planned to disappear with a secret. She had planned to survive. The pregnancy came at a time when she felt unseen, unheard, and emotionally alone. Telling him she feared would only bring more rejection. The truth hurts more than anger ever could. He realizes that while he was focused on winning arguments, she was quietly losing hope. The baby wasn't hidden out of revenge, it was hidden out of pain, out of the belief that carrying the burden alone was easier than begging for understanding. In that moment, the silence becomes clear. This wasn't a story of betrayal. It was a story of two people who stopped listening too soon, and a love that broke not from hatred, but from misunderstood pain that was never healed. In that moment of shock, time seems to stand still. The plans he walked in with, the clean break, the signed papers, the quiet exit, suddenly feel fragile and unreal. Walking away had been easy when the pain was only his. But now, there is a child involved, a life that exists because of choices they both once made. The weight of that truth presses heavily on his chest. He looks at her again, not as the woman he argued with, but as someone who has carried fear, loneliness, and responsibility for 7 long months. And for the first time, he understands that his decision will shape more than just his own future. Walking away now wouldn't just end a marriage, it would define the kind of man he chooses to be. Doubt floods his mind. Can he forgive the silence? Can he face the mistakes he ignored? Stepping up as a father means more than showing up. It means humility, accountability, and the courage to rebuild trust from the ground up. It means accepting that love doesn't always return in the same shape it once had. The room remains quiet, but something shifts inside him. What he once called an ending now feels like an unexpected beginning. Not a promise of reunion, but a promise of responsibility. A chance to do better, even if it's harder. In that fragile pause between past and future, he realizes a powerful truth. Some endings are not failures. They are crossroads, moments that challenge us to grow, to choose compassion over comfort, and to begin a bigger story where purpose is born from pain.